Good morning, and welcome to the August Public Safety News Conference. I'm Chief Roundtree of the Winston-Salem Police Department. The Police Department will be presenting first today, followed by emergency management, and the emergency management information will be presented by Emergency Management Coordinator Robert Reese, and then followed by the Winston-Salem Fire Department, and Assistant Chief Harry Brown will be presenting on behalf of the Fire Department. Before we get started, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all the women and men of the Winston-Salem Police Department for what you do every day to ensure the safety of the citizens of Winston-Salem. As customary, before we get to our topics for the month, I do want to honor the Winston-Salem police officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty while serving during the month of August. This month, we honor Patrolman Gurney L. Royal and Patrolman Thomas Garland Anderson. Patrolman Royal, end of watch, was Friday, August the 1st, 1941. Incident details. The cause of death was gunfire. Again, the date was August the 1st, 1941. Patrolman Royal was shot and killed with his own service weapon after he and his partner, Patrolman Paul Blackburn, responded to a disturbance at 3rd and Church Street in front of the Lincoln Theater. The suspect was able to gain control of Royal's weapon, and he fired it 5 times. The 4th shot struck Royal in the head, and he was killed instantly. Next, Patrolman Thomas Garland Anderson. End of watch was August the 15th, 1927. Cause of death was a motorcycle accident, and the date of the incident was August the 11th, 1927. Patrolman Anderson was involved in a motorcycle accident at 11th Street and Highland Avenue while responding to a vehicle accident on August 11, 1927. He died of his injuries on August the 15th, 1927. Let us all pause for a moment as we remember Patrolman Royal and Anderson and all law enforcement officers who have lost their lives while serving during the month of August. Let us pause for a moment. Thank you so much. Our topics for this month, we have back to school safety, which will be presented by Corporal Sheets. And also we have traffic related concerns for the Guns N' Roses concert, and that will also be presented by Corporal Sheets. He will be followed by Investigator Horsley, who will be providing information on auto break-ins. And Investigator Horsley will be followed by Lieutenant Brian Doby, who will discuss the police department's upcoming book bag giveaway. Corporal Sheets.
Thank you, Chief Roundtree. Good morning. I am Corporal Sheets with the Traffic Enforcement Unit, and this morning, as mentioned, I'm going to speak on 2 topics. The first being back to school safety, and then the second being the upcoming Guns N' Roses concert and the specific traffic-related issues that will bring. The North Carolina Department of Transportation publishes back to school safety tips each year. And having a safe and successful school year requires the cooperation of students, parents, school personnel, and the general public. And it's our hope that by following these common sense safety tips that we can have another safe and enjoyable school year for our students. And as it says here, school begins on August 28th. And some of the tips that the North Carolina Department of Transportation put out are very common sense. It's cross in crosswalks, obey and watch for school crossing guards, look both ways before crossing the street, and other ideas such as pay attention while you're walking, put your cell phone down and don't walk while looking at your cell phone, and always use the sidewalk when available. Additionally, they put out recommendations for adult and teen drivers, and those are to know when it is required to stop for a stop school bus, and I'll go over that in a little more detail in a minute, as well as yield to pedestrians in crosswalks. Do not pass a vehicle that is stopped for pedestrians, and before turning, make sure that your path is clear, and other ideas that are not ideas or safety tips, but actual laws, such as wear your seatbelt and remember that texting while driving is illegal. Now, one of the most frequent questions that we get on the traffic unit is, when do I need to stop for a stop school bus? And like I said, that is probably one of the more frequent questions that we get asked. And there is information out there. General Statute 20-217A outlines when drivers are required to stop for a school bus, and these graphics help put that into an illustration that are easy to understand. The two that we have here are 2- and 4-lane roadways with a double yellow line. On these types of roadways, vehicles traveling in both directions, when a school bus is stopped with the red lights flashing and the stop sign presented, traffic in both directions have to come to a stop while that bus is stopped with the lights and the stop sign displayed. Another roadway where all traffic is required to stop is a 2-lane roadway with a center turn lane. Again, when a school bus is stopped on a road of this design, traffic in all directions have to come to a stop. Where some people get confused is when you have your larger roadways with 4 lanes of traffic with either a center turn lane or a grass median or some type of physical barrier, concrete median or something like that. On these types of roadways, which some examples of this is certain parts of Silas Creek Parkway or University Parkway. On these types of roadways, only the vehicles that are approaching the bus from behind are required to come to a stop. The reason for that is school personnel and administrators are not allowed to set up a school bus stop for kids who have to cross this type of roadway. So therefore, the vehicles on the other side of the road traveling in the opposite direction of the bus are not required to come to a stop. And these graphics and the information presented here was obtained from the North Carolina Department of Transportation website. They put that information out, and we would ask for your assistance in providing this information to the public, because again, knowing when to stop for a stop school bus is important, and the failure to stop for stop school buses can be detrimental. Also, I would like to mention that this year, like in years past, the Traffic Enforcement Unit will be monitoring school zones. So it is recommended that as you travel in your daily commute, that you pay attention, know where your schools are that you pass through. Pay attention to what those school zone times are, and obey those requirements. Additionally, we work closely with the school personnel to enforce violations of passing stop school buses. We use various methods to do that. Some include unmarked vehicles that follow buses. So just be mindful when you see the school buses out at the beginning of this year, to be mindful of those and to stop when it is required. Switching topics and switching gears, I'll move on to the Guns N' Roses concert. That will be taking place this Friday, August the 11th. It is at the Wake Forest football field, BB&T Field on Deacon Boulevard, and the gates for this event open at 5:30. There are thousands of individuals who are going to want to be here, and nobody wants to be sitting here. But the reality is there's an expected attendance of 30,000 plus spectators or attendees of this event, with 60 to 70% of this traffic being from out of town. Given the time frame in which this concert takes place, it's going to create a large influx of vehicular traffic during an already busy afternoon rush hour. So if you're attending the concert, or if you live or you work near the area where this concert is taking place, please plan accordingly to avoid being in the traffic if it is not necessary. Some of the affected areas are going to be the main thoroughfares, US 52, Business 40, Interstate 40, and the areas immediately surrounding the stadium, which is Akron Drive, Reynolds Boulevard, University Parkway, Deacon Drive, Coliseum, Shore Fair, and Indiana Avenue. The heaviest traffic volumes are expected to be between 4:30 in the afternoon and 7:30, and then once the concert lets out, from 11 o'clock at night to 12:30 in the morning. Due to the heavy traffic volume, vehicles that are left abandoned on on US 52 would possibly be subject to immediate towing at the owner's expense under the North Carolina Quick Clearance Law, and that is listed there. Additionally, like I said before, if it's possible, just avoid that area if you do not have to be in that area during the concert. Obviously, do not drink and drive, and it is recommended to utilize designated drivers, taxis, or ride shares going to or leaving the venue. And the staffing that will be working the event, the Winston-Salem Police Department will be working traffic in and out of the event. We'll also have officers working the concert venue itself. The North Carolina Highway Patrol will have additional troopers on the highways, and the DWI Task Force will be working the area as well with strict DWI enforcement. Are there any questions regarding back to school, safety, or the Guns N' Roses concert? Thank you very much. At this time, I would introduce Investigator Horsley.
Good morning. Once again, I'm Investigator Stephen Horsley with the Winston-Salem Police Department, and once again, I come to appeal to the community to lock your doors. We've seen these videos over and over again. Auto breakings are continuing to occur where the vehicles are being left unlocked. We've said multiple times that, and you've seen in the videos that we showed in the past, that locking your vehicle doors increases your chance of your vehicle not being broken into. It's just that plain and simple. We've had cases where areas have been hit with multiple auto break-ins at one time. And in the same regard where we've had multiple auto break-ins with a lot of cars broken into, we've had a lot of vehicles in that exact same area that were not touched. The defining factor was the ones that were not touched were the ones that were left locked. They were not easily accessible. The other thing that we're seeing in the last few weeks and month is leaving your spare key or the valet key inside your car with your vehicle unsecured. This has led to several vehicles that have actually been taken and moved into other neighborhoods. As they've gone through, they've found the keys and they've taken these cars out and taken them to other neighborhoods and left them there. So I'd remind everybody, don't leave your keys in your vehicle or the valet key. With that, not just keys, but the other thing that we're asking is please don't leave valuables in your car. Lock up your purses, your wallets, secure them, your firearms, tools. If you must leave them in your vehicle, secure them out of sight in the trunk or not visible. But we are asking that you secure those out of the vehicle, as this again has created crimes of opportunity, leaving the doors unlocked. And the other thing too is just double check. Make sure that when you lock the door, you double check, pull on the handle. If you use the key fob, double check. That's the biggest way that we can say not to have your vehicle. As you can see, this one in the video was locked and he walks away. But if you'll lock your vehicles, secure your valuables, and not leave those in here, we will drastically cut down on the incidents that we're having. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? All right, at this time I want to turn it over to Lieutenant Brian Dobie, who's going to talk about the police book bag giveaway.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lieutenant Brian Dobie, and I work with the Community Resources Unit of the Winston-Salem Police Department. I want to take just a few minutes to tell you about one of our upcoming events that we're very excited about. The Winston-Salem Police Department, along with the Winston-Salem Police Foundation, is hosting their second annual book bag and school supply giveaway this Friday. Over the last several months, the Winston-Salem Police Department's Community Resources Unit, along with our summer interns, has been preparing 1,500 book bags complete with school supplies to give away. I've brought a couple so everyone can see. Here's one. I don't know if these are low enough, and I'll hold them up. But these are some of the examples of the 1,500 that we have that we're giving away. And inside of each one of them is a pad of paper, a spiral-bound notebook, and a couple of pencils, and these will be available if you need to look at them or want to show more of them in a few minutes. This program is one of the many events community events that the Winston-Salem Police Department hosts to assist members of our community and help build stronger bonds between the police department and citizens of Winston-Salem. Last year, and I've got some photographs up here for you to see from last year's event in 2016, last year the Winston-Salem Police Department and the Police Foundation provided 600 book bags to 600 students who were given out in about 53 minutes. This year we've increased that total to 1,500 book bags. The Winston-Salem Police Department is committed to fostering positive relationships with the people that we protect and serve, and we will continue to provide programs like this one. And this is a photograph of this year's 2017 book bag giveaway. This is a photograph of everything packaged up, ready to go. Since this photograph's been taken, we have distributed the book bags to the locations that'll be coming up on the flyer in a minute. And those locations are the Winston Mutual Building at 1225 East 5th Street and the District 1 Police Station on North Point, and they're shown on the flyer. The District 2 Police Station on Walltown Street and District 3 Police Station on Winter Haven Lane near the Sheets at Somerset Drive out on Stafford Road. The flyer's been disseminated also in a media release as well as on our Twitter and Instagram pages as well, and I have a copy up here. The one thing I want to mention, and please reiterate, is these book bags are going to be at all 4 of these locations. We will have staff there, but when we give them out, we need a child present. It's 1 book bag per present child at this location. So it's first come, first serve. We want to help as many people as we possibly can. We realize they're probably going to go fast, so I just want to make sure that we get the word out that we will require that a child be present to receive a book bag. Does anybody have any questions for me about anything? And I'll be available afterwards as well. All right, I'll turn it over at this time to Mr. Robert Reese with Emergency Management.
Thank you, Lieutenant Dobie. Good morning, everyone. My name is Robert Reese. I'm an Emergency Management Coordinator with Winston-Salem Forsyth County Emergency Management. And today I'm going to talk about the Great American Eclipse that will be occurring on August 21st, 2017. The Great American Eclipse is the first total solar eclipse across the continental United States in nearly 100 years. And the research I did, that is why it has been titled the Great American Solar Eclipse, and from my understanding, there's no other country that is going to be affected by the 100% totality. So it is a rare event as stated earlier. It will have a statewide impact. We know there will be increased tourism in the southwestern part of our state and traffic congestion post-eclipse. There are about 6 counties, as you can see there in the picture, that will receive the 100% totality coverage. Everywhere else in the state will be in the 90% bar, with the exception of the upper northeastern part of our state, such as Dare and Carituck. They may be in the upper 80 percentile. And to zoom in a little closer, what does that mean for us here in Winston-Salem and Forsyth County? That graphic's kind of hard to read, so I took all the valuable information and put it on this slide here. We know that it's going to start at 1:12 in the afternoon, and it will end at 4:03. The maximum eclipse here will be at 2:41 p.m. The maximum eclipse will last anywhere between 2 minutes and 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And the Obscuration will be at 94.344%. Then your magnitude at the maximum will be 0.94936. As you can tell, there's a slight difference. The experts on eclipses do say this is a major difference, so that's why it's noted for. And the moon and size ratio will be 1.02992. And then most importantly, right now we're expecting no major impacts here. There may be some increased traffic congestion depending on the routes that people take to and from the western part of our state or to South Carolina. Now I want to try to give an example of what things may look like here. That's what we'll see here because we're almost 95% in totality. So that's kind of what you'd expect here. And to compare it to what people will see that are in the path of 100%, that's what it will look like in Charleston, South Carolina. As you can tell, there is a difference in that 5%. Okay, the day of. We'll continue to share any information we get with our partners in the community. We'll also monitor for public safety impacts on a local, state, and national level. If there's any trends out west that may be important to us, we'll definitely keep an eye on that. Now, viewing the partial eclipse, and for those of us that are here, it will be just that, a partial eclipse. So we know at no point will it be safe to actually look at the sun without protective eyewear. Those going to South Carolina or other parts of the country where they are experiencing 100% totality, or our western part of the state, you can remove your glasses during the brief period once it reaches 100%. But most importantly, make sure when you're buying glasses that they do meet the safety standards put into place. ISO rating of 12312-2. When I checked a few weeks ago, there were 4 approved vendors on the NASA website. As of this past Monday, that increased till 5. So just make sure all glasses do have that safety marking on those. And also NASA's website, Eclipse 2017, nasa.gov/safety is a great resource to look at other ways to view the eclipse and also some other options as well. If you want to view the eclipse online to see what's going on, NASA will be streaming as well as the sciencechannel.com. And also I'm sure there probably will be some type of coverage from our local television stations as well as on the national level as well. And for those of you that want to view some footage from around the country, PBS Nova will capture the event and they'll air it hours later. I did not receive a time on that, but it'll be later that day. And that is all I have on the eclipse. And are there any questions? Right, thank you. Next, I will turn it over to Assistant Chief Harry Brown with the Winston-Salem Fire Department.
Good morning, everybody. The order, I am Assistant Chief Harry Brown with the Winston-Salem Fire Department. The order of our topics will be, first will be a presentation of Firefighter, North Carolina Fire Association's Firefighter of the Year, followed by presentation to the Winston-Salem Fire Explorers by Battalion Chief Joe Ramsey, and our Station of the Month by Captain Bryant Willard. Mr. Powell, if you would come on up, please, sir. So this year's Firefighter of the Year recipient has been in the fire service. This year's Firefighter of the Year recipient has been in the fire service for over 13 years. He has served in a volunteer capacity since 2003 and has been a career firefighter for the past 7 years. He has a number of certifications, including his Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2, EMT, Hazmat Tech, Trench, Ropes, VMR, Agricultural Rescue Specialty, and he's also a certified instructor and working on his associate's degree. He is an asset to both his career and volunteer department, serving as an engineer in one and firefighter in the other. Well, this firefighter stood out was during Hurricane Matthew, demonstrating his extraordinary courage, professionalism, and exemplifies the definition of brotherhood. In October, after the aftermath of the hurricane, this firefighter assisted in getting relief supplies and delivering aid to the Princeville community. While assisting, he found the situation was worse than he initially thought. He discovered the local fire department had been devastated. They lost 3 fire engines, numerous sets of turnout gear, paper records, computers, and even the fire station. They will actually have to temporarily run their department out of a tent set up in the parking lot of a local gas station. Even worse, their fire chief, which is his twin brother, was injured and almost drowned making a swift water rescue. The fire chief was unable to carry out his duties from his injuries, so our firefighter of the year stepped in. The entire fire department lost everything. And they were struggling to keep it together. He took over the incident as incident commander of the emergency and recovery efforts, and later was sworn in as acting fire chief of the Princeville Fire Department. He served as acting chief for 30 days. After returning the department back over to the fire chief, the help didn't stop there. This firefighter of the year coordinated with other members of the Winston-Salem Fire Department in collecting funds and gifts totaling $3,000 to provide assistance to the Princeville Fire Department's families for Christmas. Above and beyond is an understatement for the firefighter of the year. He exemplified the principles of North Carolina Fire Service and the North Carolina Fire Service Association. He is married to Angela and has 4 children. He is definitely a man of honor. The North Carolina State Firefighter Association Firefighter of the Year is Winston-Salem Fire Department's own engineer, John Powell. Congratulations, brother. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. I truly don't feel deserving of these accolades. But as firefighters, we have not only responsibility to each other, but to the community here in this city and also this great state of North Carolina. I have to thank the members of my fire department and the surrounding communities. They were able to assist me in that endeavor, and that ultimately produced the effectiveness that was achieved down there. I also want to thank our media friends. You all, the way you all fashioned those stories to invoke emotions from the community, because every time you guys put together a story covering that, it precipitated a large donation. So I thank you all for that as well. It is truly an honor and a pleasure to serve the Winston-Salem Fire Department and those people down there in Princeville. So thank you again. Y'all have a good evening.
Good morning. I'm Battalion Chief Joe Ramsey. I oversee our Winston-Salem Fire Explorers program. Just to tell you a little bit about our Explorers program, young people from the age of 14 to 20 can come into our organization, ride along, and it gives them experience about what the fire service is. And to date, we've hired about 30 of our former explorers into the Winston-Salem Fire Department. Those people are serving as firefighters, engineers, and captains within our organization, so we've got a rich heritage of our explorers. One thing we've tried to do over the last year is to instill an attitude of prevention, because if we can prevent fires, then there's less damage and things like that. So we've tried to take more of an outlook of prevention with our young people, and to teach these young people about prevention. Over this past summer, a number of our young explorers have participated in going to several of the recreation centers across Winston-Salem and have pretty much overseen prevention activity programs for our young people in the after school, or technically these programs the recreation provides for the young people around the community. What we want to do is honor them today. A number of our explorers have participated in not only 1 but 2 or 3 of these prevention programs. It's really great when young people can come in and give back to the community that they serve. So that's a great thing. At this time, I'll go ahead and present these awards. just like in the fire department, we have an organizational structure. Our young people actually vote the organizational structure in, so you'll hear officer positions just as much as you'll hear the explorer positions. The first person I'd like to recognize is Chief Devin Pettit. Come up here. Deputy Chief Bradley Farmer. Administrative Captain Michael Cross. Membership Committee Captain Ashton Miller. You stay right there. Equipment Lieutenant Tiffany Smith. Fire Explorer Zach Ashburn. Fire Explorer Devin Scales. And Fire Explorer Chance Walker. It's neat because these young people took time out of their summer, their busy summer, to invest in younger people and to mentor younger kids. So give them a hand. Thank you, guys.
Good morning. I'm Captain Willard, Winston-Salem Fire Department, Company Number 6. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Engine 6. It's located at 1717 West Academy Street. That's located in the Southwest Ward. Engine 6 covers primarily Ardmore community and the area around Baptist and Forsyth hospitals, BB&T baseball stadium, as well as the second in company around the Haynes Mall area. The territory is one of the largest in the city and includes 6 major roads and interstates: I-40, Highway 421, Peters Creek Parkway, Silas Creek Parkway, Stratford, and Country Club roads. Last year, the fiscal year, Engine 6 ran 2,165 calls. 528 were medical, 457 528 medical service incidents, 457 EMS calls. That excludes vehicle accidents. We also responded to assist Forsyth County EMS 142 times. We had 19 building fires and 10 cooking fires. Community focus. Engine 6 participated in the neighborhood canvassing for a stovetop fire suppression canister project. They covered several roads, as you can see: Granville Drive, Hunter Avenue, West 4th Street, Crafton Street, Apple Street, Franklin, Green, Bank, Gregory, Cotton, Salem Point, Albert, and Laurel Avenue. When we were canvassing this area, we installed 46 sets of stovetop fire suppression canisters. In addition to that, and with the Explorers, we conducted 33 public education programs. And I guess that's in the slides. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you all so very much for coming. At this time, this will conclude the August Public Safety News Conference. Thank you.